Hello everybody, this is Winston Wolf. I have here something that I've had for a little while. It's a Whitney Wolverine. It's one of the original ones. It's not an Olympic Arms remake. And there's, I think, a total of 3 videos on this gun on YouTube, and I think one of them is mine, actually. So I was going to show you all how to field strip it if you've never taken one of these apart. I actually found it pretty interesting because it's like a super old gun. It was made between 56, I think, and 58 or something like that. There's only about 14,000 or so of them made. And they also made some nickel-plated ones. Those are even more rare. There's only about 800 or 900 of those made, from what I've heard. So the first thing you always do whenever you pick up a gun, of course, is safety check it. So pull the magazine out. Magazine's empty. And then with this one, the slide doesn't lock back, so you have to pull it back, visually verify that it's empty, and the gun is not loaded. Safe direction. Oh, and of course it won't fire because the magazine's not in. But, so the first thing you do with the Whitney Wolverine is, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there's a little button right here, and you have to push that down and turn this nut, and it just counterclockwise comes right off. And that's going to release the barrel inside. So the next thing you do, cock the hammer back, and then the whole thing just slides out. This entire barrel assembly. It's still kind of warm. I just shot it today. Now, the inside of this is kind of difficult to clean. If you want to clean it, I guess you don't really have to. This little piece just fell out of there. I'll show you where that goes in a second. No, I'll show you right now. Once you get the barrel off, you have this tiny little piece right here that slides into a notch on the top of the barrel. And this is what keeps the whole thing from moving side to side while it keeps the barrel from moving side to side while it's in the frame of the gun. So this also attaches and slides into a notch in the end of the frame right here. And that's what keeps everything from turning. But that comes out like that. Set that aside. This little washer comes off. And you can see it's got a little notch in it for that pin we just pulled out. And then once that's done, if you can see it in the top, there's a lot of little parts in this gun. There's this little metal piece right here. That slides, it just pulls right up out of the top. And what that little piece of metal does, it's really super tiny. Like the thing is really, really little. So don't lose that because you absolutely need it because it holds the firing pin in place. The firing pin is back in there and it will now slide out. Then, once the firing pin's out, you can see this thing moves back and forth. So now, the firing pin is really good for pushing this little pin out right here. So you push that, that comes out, again another little part, and then at that point, this whole assembly, the slide right here, should come right out of the whole thing. So you just pull it, and that comes out. There's more little pieces in here. The barrel comes out of this. Now the barrel has the extractor just sitting in the side of it. So that comes out. And then there you have the barrel. Then the spring is inside this slide piece here, and that just comes right out. And then if you really, really want to, this piece unscrews from the back here, and then you can get a toothbrush and get all these little things all clean. Because there's a lot of little nooks and crannies all over the place. And here is, wait. I said this was the extractor, but I think I'm wrong. This is the extractor right here. It's this tiny little piece. I don't know if you can see it, but that pops out of there. And there's a tiny, tiny little pin and a spring right inside there that works the extractor. And then this thing is completely taken apart. Now, Most of them come with a manual, which is in the box that my camera's sitting on. But once you take it apart a few times, it's pretty easy to get it back together if you've ever taken anything apart before. The last thing is the magazine. The magazines in these you have to keep really clean, and you have to keep the slide oiled, because the slide is made of aluminum, and aluminum grabs on everything if it's not greased, oiled, whatever. So this thing jammed quite a bit when I first got it, but once I oiled up the slide and cleaned everything out of here and got it working a little bit smoother, now the thing hardly jams at all. When I took it today, it didn't barely jam at all. At least with CCI ammunition. But then I put some, what was it, Remington Golden Bullet, and oh my god. Now I feel bad because I have to go through 550 rounds of that crap, and it was jamming like crazy. I don't know why it's so different than the CCI Mini Mags. It looks just about the same, but oh my god. The CCI Mini Mags are about, I think the rounds were 10, 15, 20 years old maybe, and I only had one failure to fire in maybe once every 40, 50 rounds. But with the Golden Bullet, I had maybe 2 or 3 primers that didn't go off, like per clip, for every 10 rounds. That's pathetic, and I'm never buying that ammunition again. But last thing, the magazine. Down in the bottom here, there's this little aluminum square right here, and it's a block. Inside that block, there's a pin that holds it in place. There's a hole underneath on the bottom of the clip here. You got to put a little tiny Allen wrench or something and knock the pin out of that. Once the pin comes out of that, you can slide this U-shaped block out of the bottom of the magazine, and then this piece slides off to the front or back, I can't remember, and then the spring comes out. And then it just goes back together the same way. But that's it for disassembly on the Whitney Wolverine. I'm going to try and piece it back together now. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe if you like my videos. Thank you very much.